Hi everyone. I wanted to share with you today something that I just learned. I mean, it's been around for years, but I just learned it. How to make a leather look cover out of paper. So we're going to do that today. Now what I've done is I've taken the inside, the book pages, out of this little book. This is a perfect size for your art journal, your junk journal, your mixed media journal. So I've taken the inside out because I want to cover the cover. So now I've pre-measured somewhat some just paper, normal paper. This was a paper bag, and put it on top of the bag. I left a little bit of an allowance here, both at the top and on the edges, on the sides. So just measure your paper. Now what we're going to do is take this paper and crumple it up as tight as you can. You don't want to do this too fast because you don't want to rip the paper, but you don't really have to be gentle with it. And we're going to do that several times until we get the wrinkles that we're happy with. Now I'll tell you, I've seen this on several videos. The one I followed specifically was from the Paper Outpost. I think she did this about a year ago. But I wanted to share it because I do have some people that do mixed media, do art journals, etc. And it's just a new idea for those of you that are into watercolor or alcohol ink, just to try something new. Okay, I'm going to crumple this one more time. And then we're going to go over this with some distress ink. Now I'm going to use Vintage Photo, and I have some inexpensive ones called from Hampton Art that I picked up. And we're going to give that a shot. Okay, so I think our wrinkles are fairly good. This is one of those incidents where the more the merrier works. Okay, so we're quite wrinkled. Alright, so then we're going to open this up a little bit and bring in our distress ink. I'm just going to wipe this over the top. Now obviously it's where the ridges are up, you know, the peaks of this paper are going to pick up the distress ink the most. You can work it into the valleys if you choose. I think that's quite good. Now I'm going to give these other colors a shot. I don't know if I'm going to like it or not with the other colors, but we'll try it. And this is the darkest green I have. Just here and there. It kind of works. Just add a little bit more interest. Oops. Don't want that. Okay, I think that's enough. Now that I've got it all over my hands. Okay, and I have a bit of a red here. Now I don't want to put the red in with that green. It'll look like Christmas. So I'll bring in another green here, just a lighter green. This is not meant to work this way, so I think I'll dab it in. Well, this works better too for getting into the little valleys. Don't like this big chunk here, so I'm going to come in with the Distress ink, the vintage Distress ink, and cover that over a little bit. Okay, I think that'll do. All right, I think we're ready with that. That looks good to me. Okay. Now I'm just going to spray with this a little bit water. Just to dampen it up. Try to get it pretty even, the water everywhere. Now, I've seen some videos where they're using glycerin, which I don't have, and apparently the lady from the Paper Outpost didn't have it either. I'm not sure. She didn't use it. What she used is what I'm going to use, and that's hair conditioner. And this, as it turns out, she used Pantene, and that's what I use for conditioner, so that worked out well. I'm just going to spread that over my paper. Try to make sure I get it everywhere. A fairly liberal amount. I'd say at least probably a heaping tablespoon. And that's going to soften our paper up. And it smells nice too. Your book cover smells, it's going to smell delicious. Okay. Now after you're happy with the spreading, you're going to grab this and crunch it up again. And that's to get into the fibers and make sure that conditioner gets into the peaks and the valleys. So I think we're okay there. Okay, now you're going to let that dry. Now that's okay that that split a little bit there, because it will dry. I just forced it together a bit, and it will dry that way. So we're okay. Okay, now, since this is the first time I'm doing this too, I'm not sure how long this is going to take to dry. When we come back, I'm going to go off camera, wait for that to dry. When we come back, I can let you know how long that took. So see you in a bit. Okay, so I dried this with my hair dryer because I'm not a patient person, and it took me about 6 minutes of drying constantly to get this dry. And I do seem to recall that she said it to air dry for about 30 minutes, but you'll gauge that. You'll know when it's dry. So, so when it is dry, you come in with some Mod Podge and cover the entire area, making sure you have enough to get in the creases, not too wet. I'm using gloss, so I'm going to get a shinier effect than if you used a matte medium or Mod Podge, a matte Mod Podge. Okay, so I'm going to finish putting my Mod Podge on, and then I'm going to dry it, and then we'll come back. So apply your Mod Podge on your entire surface, dry it. Now you can dry it, this is where that ripped, so I'm going to try to squish that together a bit with my Mod Podge, probably both sides. Okay, so yeah, apply your Mod Podge to the entire surface and either let dry, or I'm going to go with the blow dryer again, and then we'll come back. Okay, so our beautiful leather-like paper is totally dry. Now we're going to attach it to our book cover. And what I've done is I have marked with a pencil a couple lines here, here, a cut here, 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 and here, so that so we can glue it down and not have any bulky areas. So cutting the corners now. And setting this up. And you can see my lines here, I think. And we'll be cutting those. Into a triangle. If you can see what I'm doing here. So I have a triangle here and one on the other side. This is a little bit awkward. And I want you to see in the camera what I'm doing. Okay. So there we have our paper trimmed up. Now we're just going to use, I'm just going to use Aleene's tacky glue to glue this down onto my book cover, which should be quite easy to do since basically we're working with paper. Just hold that down for a moment or two. Now I like Aleene's tacky glue simply because it's a stronger glue than, you know, your Elmer's or your glue stick. And it dries clear. Okay, I'm going to finish gluing my edges down, and then we'll come back and cover the inside of our book. Okay, so I've glued it all down, but what I wanted to show you is that I cut one of the edges a little too short, so I'm going to have to glue this back on, but I'm finding that this is just paper and it's thin enough that I probably didn't even have to cut these corners off. So you decide for yourself if that's what you want to do, but I'm finding that you really don't need to, as I said, because the paper is thin enough that this will just flatten out on its own. So I'm just folding that over now. Okay. Now that doesn't look very tidy, but we're going to cover this again with some interior paper. Cover the inside of our book. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put some coffee stain paper down for now to make sure I get the entire inside of the book covered. And then we'll put some more decorative paper over that. So let me put this down. And then we'll come back and put this gorgeous vintage paper down. Okay, so I've put one side on. I'm just using Elmer's glue stick because I'm gluing paper to paper, so don't need such strong gluing. And I find if I use Aileen's tacky glue on thin paper like this, you can see the little bumps where I've put the glue down. So overall, the glue stick works better. Okay. Try to get this on as even as I can. That about does it, I think. Go down with the trusty gift card, credit card, whatever you have, to smooth this out. And there you have it. That's the inside of our book, and here we have our cover. As you can see, that Mod Podge gives it a nice shine, and we have a nice soft leather look cover. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, if you've picked up any tips or, you know, a refresher, this might be a refresher for you, then oh, and I also wanted to mention, some people have the benefit of having a sewing machine and can put seams in it. Now, I don't have a sewing machine, so what I've done is started putting a seam in, nonetheless, with my Sharpie. So just go along with the edges and make it look like you have sewn in a seam. So it just adds, I mean, you don't have to do that, but it just adds another little touch. So I'll leave it at that. I don't know how well you can see that. I'm losing my light here. It's gotten quite late. So I think you could see it better on, down at the bottom here. So yeah, would love a thumbs up. Share if you can. And I thank you for joining me again. Thank you to my subscribers. I appreciate you a great deal. And if you haven't subscribed, today would be a good day to do that. And remember, today's a good day to have a good day. See you folks later. Bye for now.